I am Jeff Foxworthy, and welcome to Gamekeeper Podcast. If you want to learn more about farming for wildlife and habitat management, then, buddy, you are in the right place. Join the Gamekeeper crew direct from Mossy Oak Land Enhancement Studio as they discuss the latest wildlife and habitat management practices, news, and, of course, hunting. There's no telling what you'll learn, but I'm going to tell you, I bet it's interesting. Enjoy.
We're live in 3, 2, 1.
Guys, it has rained. I don't know how to. I don't know how to act.
I don't either.
What?
I got stuck yesterday.
What is this
put
like?
it that way.
Yeah, that's what you call that, like, liquidy looking stuff?
Coming from the
Oh, my
sky.
goodness.
Yeah, this one was kind of unexpected for us. You know, we had a full week of podcasting and planting kind of lined up.
Now we got to wait for it to dry.
Now we
again.
gotta- yeah, we still
But you
have
know,
more
it's
burn.
not up there at your world. You haven't been up there today, have you?
It got
They didn't-
stuck.
Remember, I left the seed out.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah. I heard about that story. You had to do that, but I looked at the rain gauges.
Yeah, it's not. I didn't
Virtually,
get near
it
as
did
much.
not get that much up there.
No, it
You'll be
didn't.
right to work tomorrow.
Yeah, you think I can use that drill?
Yours? I mean, one way to find out if you don't get it stuck, you can.
Well, I'm talking about a drill. Like, how long should I wait after rain to use a drill, or can you use them right after rain?
You could, depending on the soil.
Yeah.
Depends on if it's on the side of a hill that drains good, or in the bottom where it collects, and you got a lot of heavy clay up there, so you might.
Might be all right.
Yeah, I bet if it's been disced or something and sticky, you might want to wait.
That's right. If it's been disc, but if it's
It's been burnt.
but it hadn't been disc,
No,
I
it
think
hadn't.
you'd probably be all right.
All right, sounds
Punch that seed right into the moisture.
That's
It is
not
time. It's the bottom.
Don't
it's-
even talk about planting food plots right now. It'll be a rabbit hole, a ball rabbit hole.
Yeah, I shouldn't even went there. I shouldn't
right.
have. Sorry about that.
Well, welcome everybody. Here we are, West Point, Mississippi. Once again, we're all gathered around the table, and we've got an interesting topic to
Very
discuss.
interesting. This is Gamekeepers it gets, if you ask me.
Well, when you think about elk, I don't know that your mind automatically goes to Pennsylvania.
No.
But they are growing some of the biggest. They've got a super successful program. We've got, let me get them introduced. So over here, through the magic of the internet, we've got Mr. Jeremy Banfield.
Wave when you say your name.
Yeah, and Jeremy is the elk biologist for the Pennsylvania Game Commission.
The elk whisperer for PA.
Yeah,
That's right.
he's on the deer and elk program. The guy.
Best job in the world.
Yeah. And a trapper, too. Look at those pelts behind him. That's pretty cool.
Look, and
Used to be. I used to be
There
there.
you go.
Toxie, when we say MSU, it doesn't mean the same thing to him as it does us. He went to Michigan State University. So
I couldn't
Yeah.
afford the good stuff, honestly.
Didn't you call the MSU vet school
yeah, one time in an
Yeah, the
emergency.
Michigan.
Yeah, and I still get stuck with the MS State.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if they lost some kind of battle a few years
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
and we lost the MSU.
Maybe.
Yeah, so also, he's one of the few people I know. He went to the University of Alberta.
Huh.
That's pretty unusual there.
Yeah, but that's not an SEC school.
And but he studied mountain lions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So we can talk to him about long-tailed cats.
we've been needing
Wow.
you in our lives for a long time.
Yeah, we
Jeremy.
have, Jeremy. Glad you're here. We're going to need to do several episodes with you.
Bobby has dreamt of that one for a long time.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I'm embarrassed to say that Bobby still believes in Black Panthers. So you're going to have to work on that, but we'll do that after the podcast, maybe.
You
Okay,
don't believe
sounds
in Black
good.
Panther?
Just for the record, that it came down to, and this was like over 10 years ago, came down to a choice between working with black bears in Louisiana or mountain lions in Alberta, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go into the swamps of Louisiana chasing black bears, so I went to Canada for a few years and finished my master's there.
Huh, that's
I
cool.
like it. Diversity.
Yeah, not near as many mosquitoes. Well, there are mosquitoes up in Alberta.
Black
Yeah.
flies.
A lot more, probably.
Yeah, probably more.
Yeah.
And then last one.
Hey, go
My
ahead.
son was born there, so he is a dual citizen.
Wow.
He does not care at the moment because he is 14, but he, someday he'll think that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really is. So he can pay taxes here or there at some
Yeah,
point in the future.
wherever he wants to, yeah.
Lots of good hunting up there.
It really is. Cool stuff.
That's right.
So we got two more guests. Let's get them introduced. And look, I'm so excited. How many times have we had young ladies that have killed huge animals? It seems like a lot, but we've got Sammie Bartlett.
Yes, sir.
She killed what may be the largest bull elk by a young lady with a crossbow ever.
Ever.
That's
Come
what
on.
I'm told.
Ever.
Yeah. And her dad is he's in a vehicle on his way to Indianapolis, but he's with us. His dad was with her. Hello, Noel.
And congratulations on all that. I
for
just
real.
can't wait to hear what all happened.
My 15-year-old son is going to be mighty jealous. He's going to be like, "Why aren't you taking me elk hunting, Dad?"
Because you didn't draw a tag.
Yeah. No, thank you. Look, you're the one that probably got pulled through the ringer the most, and getting Sammie set up on a hunt.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of work getting ready for it. This was her first year archery. It got moved up by a couple weeks when the game commission called and said that she was drawn.
Yeah.
Wow.
So is it just a random draw? Is it a weighted draw, or how does the draw system work?
You guys want me to take it out? Yeah, I was like, I could probably take that one. So it is a random draw. It's not weighted or anything like that. Well, I take that back. It kind of is. There's a bonus point system.
Mm-hmm.
So every year that you put in and you don't draw, you gain 1 bonus point. Those effectively act as a multiplier. You got 5 bonus points. Your name goes in the hat 5 times. Effectively bumps the probability that you're going to draw. That said, the odds are still really bad, like no matter how you slice it.
Right.
So it's pretty much a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Pretty much. Statistically, no. Functionally, yes.
So, and how many tags will you draw a year?
140 this year, and then we had about 52,000 and change applicants put in for those 140. That's split across 3 seasons. So the archery season, general season, which hasn't occurred yet, and then the late season also has not occurred yet. Archery season is the only one we've gotten through so far.
Yeah, so 52,000 entries, 140 tags. Sammie, you are a winner.
Yeah.
A double winner
Yeah.
at that. Yeah.
Yeah, you better go grab a Powerball ticket.
On the way, yeah.
So, Jeremy, let's walk us back in time. Evidently, there used to be a elk in Pennsylvania. They were extirpated, if I'm using that word correctly. And
You are.
And now you guys have, through many years and efforts of many people, have brought the elk back. Can you kind of tell us that story of bringing them back?
Yeah, sure. So, real quick, extirpation occurred somewhere around late 1800s. There's 2 guys that both claim to have killed the last elk in Pennsylvania. One was in 1867, one was in 1877. I don't know how you could definitively be like, yeah, I got the last one, without, actually knowing that. But the point is that somewhere around that period, elk are gone from PA. Stayed gone until 1913. 1913 was when they first brought in elk from Yellowstone National Park, actually. They brought in 50 elk on rail, dumped those ones out. 2 years later, they brought in another 95. There was a few released from a private reserve in Monroe County, and then a few more in 1924, 1926. Point of the story, between 1913 and 1926, there was 177 elk released in PA, and then all the animals we have today are remnants of that population.
Have you ever told that story before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
A few times.
So when I think of Pennsylvania, I think of big mountain hardwood ridges
Yeah.
and whatnot. And does that end up being really good elk habitat?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, without browse, they have nothing without browse.
Yeah, so a lot of northern PA, where our population is northern hardwoods, like you said, and kind of that, it's the tail end of the Appalachians, so it's still rugged. It's not, maybe not West Virginia, Tennessee type thing, but it's still definitely mountainous country. Elk really need grass, herbaceous type habitat, and so we work pretty hard to keep that on the landscape. So keeping open canopy, herbaceous food plots, whatever you want to call it, grassland type environment on the landscape is one of our main challenges. Just constantly doing that successional setback, to keep it in that state versus letting it go to shrub and young forest and old forest. Browse is definitely a good part of it as well. We do have active timber sales that go on both on the game lands, which are owned and operated by the Game Commission, as well as our sister agency, Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. They do state forests. So both public land, both state-owned public land, and both agencies have active timber sales that obviously create browse, when we're going in and taking out forest. Anything that breaks up the canopy and gets sunlight down to the floor, that's a good thing.
Gosh, that's probably helping everything else too.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I kind of, I don't want to say I only care about elk. I'm a biologist. I care about all species, but I often tend to be focused on elk, not surprisingly. But yeah, I mean, when we create that habitat for elk, it's creating habitat for tons of other game species out there, as well as non-game grassland songbirds, various species that need that early successional forest.
Talk to us about the digestive system of elk versus, say, deer versus, say, cattle, because, I mean, for our purposes, we learned started biologic based on the premise of forages that white-tailed deer could digest, learning that, the digestive system of a deer and of cattle dramatically different. A cattle can eat old rough forages and grasses and that are stemmy and thick cell walls and all and do well, but deer couldn't. And I feel like, elk is in the same category as deer, but if you compare to, say, deer on one hand and cattle on the other, how do they fall?
Yeah, closer to cattle, actually.
Wow.
So I hate to say that, but because they are kind of, I don't want to oversimplify and say they're a big deer. They're certainly more complex than that, but closer to cattle in the 4-chamber ruminant stomach. That deer will not only consume browse, right? They'll graze on clover and other herbaceous grasses and stuff like that. Right. Same thing with elk. They're not strictly grazers; they'll browse as well. So both those species kind of float between the two worlds, and they partition the niche out pretty well. But yeah, to answer your question, probably a little bit closer to cattle.
That would make sense, if you think about it out west. A lot of the cover is just rough and woody and
That's right.
and grassy, and they probably have adapted to that.
Yeah, and I always point out that, like, if we think of western elk habitat, it's just there's millions of acres of grassland that they don't have to. It's naturally there, right? It burns every once in a while, but it's not like they got to go in and I don't know, mow it or anything like that we kind of have to do in the eastern United States. So eastern deciduous forest wants to be forest, and we work pretty hard to keep it in a grassland type component for elk specifically, but again, for all those other species that we talked about.
So Jeremy, what do y'all estimate the population to be at?
So that's a good one. You cut me off if you want me to go too deep into this, but the simple answer there is between like 1,300 and 1,500 animals. I tell people, we estimated about 1,400. That's the middle ground there. We do an aerial survey every year, so we contract a company that has a fixed wing plane, and then hanging from the belly of that plane is a very sophisticated thermal / high definition camera, totally integrated into the aircraft. So there's overlays on the screen where we always know where the plane is at in space and time. We always know where the camera is looking in space and time, and all of that gets recorded. And so I literally get an external hard drive of about 90 hours worth of video footage, and they fly close to 1 million acres. It ends up being about 11,000 miles because they do 500-meter transects, right? 500 lines that are spaced 500 meters apart. Wow. And just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And picking out elk, and when they see a group of elk, they'll peel off those transects, get a nice good circle, video everything, and then I get all that on an external hard drive. And then we use our radio collars to estimate a proportion of the population that was missed. Do you want me to keep going, or
No,
you want me to cut off?
you're doing good.
Love it. Yeah.
Keep on, please.
All right, so last comment there's the flight crew has no knowledge of the radio collars. For simplicity's sake, we got 100 radio collars out there. I can remotely crank up the fix rate on those, right? So they're GPS collars. I can send a command sitting right here at my desk that says, all right, I want you to bump up to every hour. Like every hour, they're going to take a location, and then they're going to upload that into the cloud, and we can get it from there. So seasonally, we do that, right? So now I've got 100 radio collars out there. I know basically where they are every hour in space and time. We know where the airplane is and where it's looking in space and time. If they see a group of elk out in a field and there's a radio collar in that group and the two kind of match up, then I know that radio collar was seen. Conversely, they fly right past the radio collar. They miss it. I know that they missed it because I knew where the elk was and I knew where the plane was. So that animal was unseen, and it's that ratio of seen versus unseen that gives us the correction factor, basically. So if they see 65% or 65 of those 100 animals, we know that they missed about 35%. I'm simplifying the math a little bit, but that's the basic fundamental of it.
That's missing more than I would have thought they would have.
Yep.
I mean, them things
So, I mean,
can
it's just-
hide pretty well.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna
That's why
tell you.
Bigfoot. That's why we can't definitively say there isn't a Bigfoot.
You
'cause
you can't say definitively there's no
Or
Bigfoot.
that there's no Black Panthers in Mississippi.
Yeah,
That's right, Bobby.
could be.
Could be. So when did the elk program start in Pennsylvania?
Define the elk program.
Excuse me. Yeah, when did y'all, I guess, first try restocking?
Yeah, that was like-
1913.
That's right. He said
Oh my!
that.
I thought that I
Yeah.
thought that failed. My bad.
No, that was where it came from.
That's
When
really-
did the hunting season start?
So that's a good one. There was an early hunting season from 1923 to 1931. Bull only, 4 points to a side, and it shut down in 1931. 1931, they killed one bull, a single bull, and then they shut it down in 1932. Stayed closed until 2001, and then in 2001 we started hunting again. We've had a season every year since then.
So there was after that those original restockings. There hadn't been any additional animals brought in.
No, sir.
And
Everything that we got today is from that initial, 177 between 1913 and 1926.
How many incidences of poaching do you have for sure, or do you estimate?
So probably every third year, maybe every fourth year. It's not common. Like 1 in 4 years, somebody gets arrested for poaching. There's a really cool story if you want to hear it. I don't know if we have time.
Go for it.
but-
I
Sure.
love
Yeah,
a
we
cool
do.
story.
Bobby loves drama.
Yeah.
All right. So it's got to be 2017 or something. And realize that all that falls to the game wardens, right? I don't do any law enforcement. I'm a dorky biologist. I don't do the law enforcement stuff. But one of our game wardens, I know them all, obviously, all our game wardens. One of our game wardens called me and he's like, "Hey, I found a poached elk." He took all the evidence that he needed off of it, took everything that he could do. And he's like, "They're going to come back. They're stupid. They'll come back." And so he stayed out in that same area for 6 nights, every night sitting in his vehicle.
Wow.
And on the 6th night, sure enough, he said he saw a vehicle moving through this field. Headlights would come on, headlights would go off, moving, headlights on, headlights off. That happened like 3 times, and then boom, they just saw a flame go out the window. And so he flipped on all of his lights, went down there, arrested them. They had already killed the bull. And then he had the rack from the other one that they had killed the week before, got a search warrant, matched all that up. And basically they got arrested for killing 3 different elk. 3 different individuals got charged there. And that was one of our biggest poaching cases in history that I can remember. Anyway, to answer your question, it does not happen often. It does. I'm sure it happens, but you are taking a tremendous risk. 1, you never know where the game wardens are. They're going to pop out of nowhere. And then 2, you better have the front end loader ready. Right? And pray to God it dies on the road so that you can actually move it, because you can't move it. I mean, you might be able to do that with a whitetail and throw it in the bed of a truck and it'll actually stay below the bed line. That doesn't happen with an elk. And if you gut it, you're leaving tons and tons of evidence there. So the ones that we know about would be again, maybe 1 in every 4 years. Sorry, that was a really long-winded.
No,
It's just honestly, it's just
relax,
really
Jeremy.
sad.
You're doing good.
yeah, and he knew they'll be back to shoot another one.
Yeah.
6 days later.
And I would say that guy was married. We say they bleed green, right? They're married to the Game Commission, and he actually did have a girlfriend at the time. But who was going to go out there for 6 nights in a row, except for the young game warden that's
God bless
not
him.
married.
Yeah, no, he's hunting. I
Let's
like
hit
it.
the horns for that.
Thank
young
you for
man.
your service.
Yeah. Wow. So, let me ask this. It's been over 100 years, and to go from almost 200 elk to 1,400 doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like
Exponential growth.
Yeah, it doesn't. Somebody's getting those elk because
Either that or the habitat,
Or the habitat
hadn't
won't
been
support it.
improved
Yeah,
yet.
they got to its limiting factor.
Yeah,
Right.
is it-
So,
Yeah. So habitat by far is the most fundamental limiting factor in that whole thing. You think of like Kentucky, for example. So they got 10,000, 14,000 elk. I don't know if they even know. But they've got thousands of acres of reclaimed strip mine. If you were standing in eastern Kentucky in their elk range, I could lie to you and be like, "Oh, you're in the foothills of Wyoming right now," and you would not know the difference. I mean, it's grassland with little conifer covered tops and looks very, very similar. It makes wonderful elk habitat. But basically, they have 10,000 elk because they've got the habitat for it. We probably will never have thousands upon thousands of elk just because we don't have the habitat for it, and there's no private coal companies stripping and reclaiming all of our public land to make that habitat for us.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That does. So the main question that I have for you, Jeremy, is I'm sure they don't stay on the public land all the time. Do the private landowners, do they get frustrated, or do they enjoy them, or what's kind of what do you hear the most?
Depends on whether you're growing crops or not.
Yeah.
So yes, you're correct. Like, they don't stay on private land at all times, or excuse me, on public land at all times. We do what we can, right? We try and create good quality habitat on public land to vacuum them off of those conflict areas. You can make the best habitat in the world, and you're probably never gonna, supersede the forage benefit of row crops. So yes, they do get into trouble with agriculture. It is legal for farmers to kill elk in Pennsylvania for damage, and the law is pretty subjective. It's pretty open-ended. What they call damage is kind of up to them. They have to submit the head and the hide within 24 hours to remove the trophy aspect, and then it's up to the local game warden whether they are permitted the meat or not. 99% of the time, they're going to be given the meat unless they're like a known, game violator or something like that. So certainly happens on an annual basis. We get about 10, maybe 15, crop kills per year in a population of 1,500. It's not really putting a dent in it. But it is something that we deal with on an annual basis.
And they can. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm glad to hear Pennsylvania is willing to allow depredation hunts, hunters to be able to keep the meat or share the meat.
Yes.
In a lot of states, and it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, I don't understand.
They're gonna leave them
You
laying.
have to leave them laying.
Yeah,
and I will never understand
Me
that.
neither.
And recognize too that it's not necessarily like depredation hunter. It's the farmers, right? It's the farmers or their immediate family that are permitted to do
So
that,
they don't-
at least currently.
Which is same with most farmers.
Yeah.
They just call it depredation because the deer or the elk are predating the crop.
Correct.
So they don't have to apply for this depredation permit beforehand. Wow, that's pretty cool.
How about that?
Yeah, again, the law is pretty subjective, and the law is like, that's PA code, right? That has nothing to do with the Game Commission. We don't have control over that.
Yeah.
That's legislature type stuff. So, but yeah, it's kind of up to them what they call damage, and it's never. Again, I don't want to dismiss it and say it's not a big deal, but again, 15 animals in a population of 1,500 is not really affecting our population all that much. And I'm actually in favor of them having the legal right to defend their livelihood.
100%.
So if they get super we will go in. I don't want to say that we don't take steps prior to that. If they're calling and complaining, we can go in and we can do the rubber buckshot thing. We can do different steps to try and haze them out of there. Again, you're probably never gonna keep the animals out of row crops, like unless you keep that pressure on all the time, which just is not something that's usually practical. So eventually, if push comes to shove, they have the right to exercise their legal, they have a legal out to protect their livelihood.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Total sense. So, hey, Sammie, don't go to sleep on us over there now. I promise we're going to come to you here in just a second. But before we do, look, Jeremy, I just hear that y'all are growing some of the biggest elk in the country. Can you talk about your antlers?
Yeah. So
Bob.
we
Well, I have to
we don't
go
have the
there.
biggest elk in the country. Again, I would still put that to New Mexico, Arizona. That's where most of your world records come from. What's the world record now? Is that at Utah still?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Bob would be the
I
one
think
that
it's-
would know.
I don't know.
Fairly sure it's out of Utah. But regardless, we've got a 1 or 2 in the top 10. Boone and Crockett. We're always non-typical for some reason.
Huh.
And then to answer your question though, it basically comes down to 1, the habitat is good. 2, and probably the primary one is age structure, right? So we've got a population of 1,500. We take roughly 50 bulls a year. So we're allowing them to, reach that age where their antler structure is maximized. That 8, 9, 10-year-olds are typically your 400 plus in score.
Ooh.
And then
That's a big old bull.
That's a monster.
yeah.
Yeah, and I would.
So-
I've been
so
gone a few times. I
that
don't
would be
think. 10-year-olds don't just automatically get 400 inches out west. They do not.
No, they don't. They don't. You're right. I'm just saying that most of the ones that we have that are in the 400 class are usually, again, that like 8, 9, 10.
Wow.
No, you're not outstripping your carrying capacity if you're growing them like that.
No,
so.
that's
But,
true.
you know, I would think, you know, only 150 hunters are awarded a year. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So
140, but yes.
So knowing, you know, locals and game camera photos, it's probably not that hard to hone in on
a good
a
bull.
trophy-sized mature bull. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the outfitters are real good at that. So, you know, we've got there's 5 main outfitters that basically guide or offer guiding services to Pennsylvania hunters. I'm not sure if Sammie went guided or not. We can ask her here in a second. But so, you know, they definitely keep tabs on certain bulls that they are interested in.
Let's turn the conversation. I can't wait to hear from Sammie, but I think we ought to start with her dad about putting in for the tag, because there's got to be a story here. Somebody wanted Sammie to kill an elk. Noel Bartlett, can you get started and tell us the story, please?
Well, this is her third year hunting. Every year I've been putting in since the beginning of the elk hunt program. I've never been drawn. My father was drawn for a cow tag in 2017, but I figured I'll just put her in. When she turns 18, goes to school, moves off on her own, she'll have points built up. There's no way she'll be drawn because, I mean, I've never been drawn and I've, tons of points. And suddenly this summer I had some grown man call asking to speak to my daughter, which threw a red flag up. And when I asked why he was calling my daughter, he let me know that she was drawn for an elk tag. And then I let my daughter know that she was going to cost me a bunch of money.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
I bet your tone changed.
Yeah, who helped you up off the floor?
That's great.
Yeah, that is good. I'm still kind of wrapping my mind around the opportunity. 150 tags out of 52,000.
140 tags out of 52,000. You do the math on that
Yeah,
for
if you do the math
do the
on
math
that.
on that for you right quick.
So, Sammie, I want to look at you. Tell us about, how did you get interested in hunting? Is this something that you've been doing a long time? You enjoy doing it with your dad? Tell us a little story, the little backstory there, please.
Yeah, so my entire family has hunted my entire life. My grandpa does, my uncle, my cousins, my dad. So it's kind of been something that my family did even when I was younger. So once I turned 12 and I was able to hunt, I was really excited to be able to deer hunt. So I started doing that, but also as I started doing it, it became more than that because hunting is really necessary to conserving a good ecosystem, and not only just in Pennsylvania, but all across the United States. It helps keep populations in check so that other populations can flourish. So it's really important on a conservation side, and it's also keeping an ancient sport and tradition alive. And I like being the younger generation that's doing that.
Hit the horns, Mitchell. What are you doing?
I just got chill bumps.
Yeah, come on.
Sammie.
Yeah, preach it, girl.
That is awesome, Sammie. Goodness gracious, I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't either.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing.
No, you have done something right.
Well, we've tried to raise her, understanding the outdoors, the ecosystem. I mean,
I don't know if you can hear him, but I can explain it. This little pack that when he went hunting, he would put me in so that I could come along with him when I was like 2 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good time.
That is good. So you have to be 12 to hunt by yourself or to actually harvest the animal in Pennsylvania?
No, so you can do mentor hunting when you're younger than that, but in my family, it's kind of like a rite of passage. I small game hunted before I was 12, but we don't deer hunt in my family until we're 12. Like my cousins, my dad, my grandpa had the same role. That's just kind of something that my family's always done.
So, Sammie, walk us through getting this phone call, and then how did you guys figure out where you're going to hunt? What all happened after that?
So I was actually home alone, It was the day of a parade, and my dad was driving in the parade for the fire department, and my mom and younger sister were with him, and they had already left. And I was going to be in the parade for marching band, and I was doing my hair, getting ready for this parade, and he called me, and he asked me, he said, "Do you know how much money you just cost me?" And I was sitting there like, what did I do now? Like, what did I do? And he was like, "You just got drawn for an elk tag." I'm like, what? Because I hadn't really even like thought of it as a possibility because, you don't get, if you do get drawn, you don't get drawn until you've been putting in for years and years. And to be honest, I didn't even know that I was putting in. Whenever Dad was buying my licenses, he would put in for me. I didn't even know I was put in. So I honestly did not believe him. I thought he was joking with me. And then the next day he woke me up at 8 o'clock on a Sunday and I'd planned to sleep in. He was like, "Well, we're gonna go and get you a crossbow." Yeah, it was definitely unexpected.
Yeah, 14 years old.
Yeah.
Gets drawn on the elk hunt. Dad gets her the crossbow. And so, boy, you've got to figure things out pretty fast. Jeremy, I want to look at you. You said y'all have got 5 outfitters around. So if somebody in the state draws one of these permits, they've got somebody that they can look to. They may have to spend some money, but somebody that's got a little expertise that might could help them.
Yeah, I mean they're a private entity. They're outside the game. Well, we vet them kind of like we permit them, but there's a misconception that you have to have a guide. You do not. That's a personal decision. That's up to you. But most of the time, the outfitters are calling the winner. So we do a public drawing at a big weekend-long elk expo. Like there's a big festival called the Elk Expo. That's where we do the drawing. It's in the last week of July. And so the outfitters are there, they're recording all of it and then they're running back to their booths and stuff and calling all the winners. That's actually why we started calling them, because I was offended that they were notifying, these winners before the game commission was. So we started calling them, and we can beat them because we have the phone numbers. But anyway, so that's why we called Sammie first. And then I bet you got a call from an outfitter. Noel?
So they didn't call us, but within an hour, my mom, because they only said the S. Bartlett part, and my mom's first name is Sandra, so we have the same first initial. So a lot of people were like messaging her on Facebook, like, "Oh, did you draw a tag? I work for an outfitter. I can guide you in your elk hunt." My mom was like, "No, actually, that's my 14-year-old."
Sammie, I think the time has come for you to tell the story of this elk.
The elk season started on Saturday, September 13th, and I went over to the hunting zone on Friday after I got out of school. It's about a 2-hour drive from where I live to where I was hunting, and I was staying at a lodge through my outfitter, Trophy Rack Lodge. We went out that night to go kind of look around, see a couple of elk, and then we started hunting on Saturday. We were up every morning at 3 a.m. We left by 3:30. We were in the woods the whole day. We got back to the lodge at 10 o'clock and then up again at 3 a.m. The first day was kind of boring. We saw a spike in the morning, but other than that, we didn't have very much action on the first day. It was a lot of sitting and waiting. Every day we at least had some action, like we saw elk or like we got close to getting a shot on one every day, but obviously not close enough because I didn't get one until the 4th day, which is a lot earlier than a lot of people got their elk because the season runs for 2 weeks. The 3rd day, there was an elk in front of me that literally if this bull had taken 2 more steps, I would have shot him, but he was being stubborn. Then the 4th day, we had decided to go somewhere new. And we got out of the truck at 4 a.m, and there were elk bugling everywhere.
Whoa.
And we decided we were going to go sit in the truck and wait a couple of minutes. till it got a little bit lighter out. And when we got up, it was only probably 700 yards from where we had parked. But there were elk fighting, and we could hear them. So me and my guide, Zach, went ahead while my other guide and my dad stayed behind. And we went up, and, like, almost immediately, Zach was like, sit down, like, get ready to take a shot. And so I was just, like, sitting in the wet grass, and I remember, like, complaining to myself, like, oh, my butt's so cold, like, I'm wet now. And then Zach did a cow call one time, and down comes, like, this bull just, like, running, like, towards me. And, like, almost as soon as the bull stopped, Zach told me that it was about 40 yards away. Like, I didn't even wait to, like, get into, like, a good position. I just shot offhand. And it went straight through the heart and lungs and straight out the other side and down into the ground. And the elk started running, went 150 yards before falling and dying. It was pretty exciting.
I mean,
You think?
So, yeah.
that reflex shot is always a good one.
Did you see him fall?
No, I couldn't.
Okay.
He ran up a little ridge line and he went over a hill and I couldn't see him anymore. But I heard him fall.
Wow.
Also, I completely forgot about this, but on the third day, we were waiting in a field, and I was sitting down reading a book, and all of a sudden, Zach taps me on the shoulder, and there was a coyote 35 yards in front of me, and I shot the coyote. So that was my first ever archery kill.
All right.
Good for you.
Day of the season.
Double bonus points
Yeah,
for
quite
killing a Yodi.
quite a trip.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, are people hunting the elk in Pennsylvania at the same time? Are they acting just like the Western hunters? They're calling to them the same tactics, so to speak?
Yeah. So yes, in a nutshell, especially during our archery season, they're calling to them. I think people still do a little bit of calling during the general season. It's a little late, rut's probably over by that time, or definitely over.
Yeah.
But it is effective during the archery season.
Yeah. Wow. So, Sammie, how much did your bull weigh?
So the estimated live weight was 850 pounds.
Wow.
Once we gutted it, it was a little bit under 800 pounds. When we had to drag it out, like I said, it was only about 700 yards, and it was downhill, but it took us 2.5 hours. 3 guys and me, it took us 3.5 or 2.5 hours to get it off that hill and into the truck.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so now, and everybody's going to look at me like that's all you care about, but I've got to ask, what did he score?
310 inches for the full rack.
That's a giant.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
And did I read, because when I ran across you on social media, I saw this picture of you and your dad, and y'all were wearing mossy oak. I was all excited. But the bull was huge, and I think the headline said maybe the largest bull taken by a lady hunter with a crossbow.
Maybe with a crossbow. Probably not the largest ever, but I'm not sure.
Well, that's what I'm
Regardless,
doing.
Definitely the youngest female archery hunter.
Okay.
I think, the youngest bull archery hunter and the youngest female overall archery hunter. I think there was a boy a few years back that got a cow that was younger than me.
Yeah, but that was just a boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Youngest is what I mean. I've left out youngest. And that's quite a feat.
Yeah.
Dad, you got to be awfully excited up there. You're very stoic.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, my first hunt was going to be back 14 years ago, and we spent that money on having her, and and now she took my elk this time, so it was well worth it.
I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, it's nothing better to spend your time on.
I would say this, from taking my daughter and my wife and a couple of different ones, the ladies seem to be steadier shots with like a rifle,
100%.
crossbow,
Yeah.
Natural.
In fact, I
naturally
don't even
better
remember any
shooters.
of them ever missing much. It sounds like she's one of those that's steady as a rock too.
Yeah. They
Oh
are.
yeah, she's a natural, and she doesn't. The nerves don't get her. I mean, I still get the nerves, when a buck comes out in front of me, and she'll tell you. Everyone asks her, "What were you thinking?" She says, "I wasn't thinking about anything." And, the guy talked about, how first thing he said to her was, "Oh my God, you put it right in the crease," and her answer was, "Well, yeah, that's where you're supposed to put it."
Come on.
I was going to say my wife killed her one and only buck a very long, right when we first got married, not long. It was 8-point. It was probably 150 yards, 40 yards. Boom, dropped it. It went like 2 steps and dropped it. And before she said anything, she looked up at me and said, "I told you, how can you men miss something as big as a deer?" I just don't understand.
Oh, Miss D
And
coming through.
It is what it is. She's steady as a rock. And, she was calm instead of hyperventilating like all of us would have been.
Yeah.
No doubt about
How
it.
about that? Wow.
Good stuff.
Sammie, this is so exciting. So what are y'all having a shoulder mount? You're going to hang it there in the house? What's the plan?
We're getting a European mount,
I'll-
which is just the skull and the antlers.
Yeah.
And we're looking at, because we have only 8-foot ceilings in my house, so not super tall. So if we were to get the full head mount, I would have had the nose at knee level.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually prefer a European
I do
mount.
too. I
Yeah,
love
I do
European
too.
They are
mounts.
cool.
That's what
They're
this
great.
one is
They
here.
look great on
Most
the
of
elk.
them.
Yep.
Yeah. Very classy.
Yeah, no
looking.
doubt about it.
Jeremy, sounds like y'all have done a fantastic job up there managing these elk.
Thank you. I mean, that's not always it's certainly not a single man thing. There's a lot of people that contribute to that. But no, I do agree. Pennsylvania's got a good solid elk program. And I'm happy to be a part of it. Happy to continue that legacy.
Yeah, I love the idea of these eastern states having these, and
yeah.
the hunting's great, and we love it. But that's part of the sustaining it, and so it's exciting to see it, because where are all the states now? There, obviously Kentucky's very famous for theirs. I know Arkansas and now Pennsylvania. What other state? They're a little bit in northern Tennessee, I think, from Kentucky.
Yep. So Tennessee has a population. They also get a little bit of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park spills into Tennessee, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a population in Great Smoky that goes between North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky. You said Arkansas. We count Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan as eastern states.
Wow.
And I think that's it off the top of my head. Every other year, we have a Eastern Elk Managers Conference. We get together and drink beer and tell lies to each other and stuff like that.
like a good time.
That's where my counterparts all come from, those other Eastern states.
Bobby'd love to go to that as your guest and buy everybody beer and try to bribe them out of a tag. I
try to
know
get
it's
them
on his
on
mind.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's where you guys know this, but that's where you solve all kinds of problems,
That's
all kinds,
exactly
or you
right.
just lament with each other. So
Yeah, I bet. I am just, Sammie, I'm impressed.
No doubt about
14
it.
years, because it would. There's a lot of grown men that could not have held their composure and made that shot in
Yeah, Dudley.
that situation. And I'm gonna count myself as one of them, Sammie.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that would have shook me up.
You got tore up. That's no doubt about it.
Well, so now that it's all over with, how does when you went to school, were you a local celebrity?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the town that I live in, Oil City, it's a rural town, it's a small town, and it's a very, probably 90% of the people that I go to school with hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone pretty much already knew that I was going elk hunting. And when I came back to school, people that I had never really even talked to were asking me how my hunt went. A bunch of my teachers were asking me to show me pictures of the elk, and it was pretty fun.
So did
That's
they
a great
have
community.
a ticker tape parade down Main Street or something with you on holding the elk? Sounds like you should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We need more states like Pennsylvania.
Still got perfect attendance, too. That's pretty good.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, this has been a lot of fun. Jeremy, is there anything about the elk herd? We ought to tell people how they could sign up and try to win the lottery next year with you. How would they go about doing that?
Yeah, I mean, so residents are welcome to apply. along with PA resident. Or I'm sorry, did I say residents? Non-residents are welcome to apply along with PA residents.
Oh, wow.
And basically, it's go online, do it that way. That's the easiest way. If you're a PA resident, everybody knows how to do it already. You can go into a licensed vendor, but essentially, if you go into Huntfish PA, that's our standardized website where you can apply for all kinds of different things, including elk.
Is there a certain percentage to go to non-residents versus residents?
So it's funny you say that. There's a lot of changes happening next year. As of right now, for this year, for the season that Sammie was involved with and the seasons that are about to happen here generally, non-residents had equal probability of drawing over residents. Next year, starting January 1, 2026, we're actually putting in a 10% cap on non-resident winners. So as soon as, and that's per season. So as soon as, we hit 10% in the archery season, all the rest of the non-residents come out and then it'll stay resident from there. And then on top of that, we're going to increase the application fee for non-residents as well. So the barrier to entry is going to go up.
Hey, as a turkey hunter in Mississippi, I like what you're doing up there.
Yeah, I mean the extra amount can go back to the resource.
That's
It's a great idea. I hate to say it,
but the residents
we should
deserve
do
a
that
better
here.
chance, in my opinion.
We have one of the earliest turkey seasons in the country, and we get flooded with non-state people. When we welcome them. Not saying not, but we should be sure we're getting the money to compensate for the resource
That's exactly
we're managing too.
Yeah, and because I'm showing the application fee is $12. Is that right?
Yeah, y'all need to go up.
So, and when I say the application fee is going to go up, basically the application fee is going to stay the same. It's $11.97, $12, but you're going to be required to buy a general hunting license before you can apply. For every PA resident, they're already doing that.
Gotcha.
Right? So it's basically
I love it. So that money's going straight into the game and fish pool to be used for the resource. That's a good move.
Correct. But it's very different for if you're a non-resident. Now you've got to buy a non-resident general hunting license, and it's $112-ish. So
that's
it's
cheap, honestly.
Yeah, that's cheap.
I think ours is $350 or something like that.
Yeah, Alabama's is.
That's 2 tanks of gas.
That's right.
Well, the thing, not to pitch people doing it, but so you don't get drawn, go up there and go hunt something else. You got a hunting license.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
Hey, and no matter what, that hunting license goes to the resource.
Yep.
So do y'all do a governor's tag where
here we go.
y'all auction
Look
off
at Bobby trying to work an angle.
I would never be able to do that.
You can't hide money, Laney. You can't hide money.
I'm just curious.
Yes. So do you want me to go down that road?
Well, how much are y'all raising a lot of money that way? I would think so.
Yeah, we call it special conservation. The law that established that is there's 2 special conservation licenses. The slang is governor tag. One of them goes to the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. They auction it off to the highest bidder, and then the law says they can keep 20% to cover their administrative costs, and 80% comes back to us for the elk program. Similarly, the other one goes to the Keystone Elk Country Alliance. So RMEF, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and then Keystone Elk Country Alliance are kind of our main, partners, our 501c non-government partners in managing elk and PA. So that other tag goes to them. They raffle it off, and they do $25 for one or $6 for 100. And then same type of deal. They get to keep 20%. 80% comes back to the elk program in Pennsylvania. The governor tag sold this past year for $275, as in $275,000 was the highest bidder, and then the raffle. I don't know the numbers off that outside my head. It was in the 350, 380. Like they made a significant amount of funding off of that. And again, that all comes 80% comes back to the Game Commission for elk. So that's a tremendous
Think about
resource for us.
all awesome. The habitat work you can accomplish with that money.
No doubt about it.
I mean, that may buy a skidder and a feller buncher, or something.
Yeah.
Gosh.
The law says it's got to be used in line with the elk management plan. So basically, it's got to be earmarked for elk, and we always try and put it into habitat because that is the one place that nobody can argue with. That's the best use of those funds. It benefits everybody, all Pennsylvanians, all people really. And definitely benefits the elk the most. So
cut more trees. I hate to say it.
275, Bobby. 276, and it's yours.
So, Jeremy, when I think about you and your cohorts and
Cohorts.
Cohorts, and
Close enough.
yeah, and all the hard work that y'all have done, and all the you're standing on the shoulders of others that started all this, and then all of a sudden you have a guy willing to pay almost $300,000 to come harvest one of these animals. That's to me, that just says, boy, you've done everything right. You've done so much right. That people are believing in what the resource, what you've got. There's an opportunity. They think they're going to kill something tremendous.
Yeah, I would agree. And all of those people all the ones that I've met, anyway, have been amazing individuals and happy to kind of make that contribution. It's a little crazy to me, like who sits around on a Saturday and says, I'm going to spend $250,000 on an elk tag, but if I could do it, maybe I would. But no, it's a cool system that we've got, and do definitely appreciate all those individuals and the funds that they're able to contribute to conservation and elk management.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. It's amazing, though, because you think about it, a lot of those states are doing that. There's a lot of money raised that way.
Yeah,
Hunters are America's greatest conservationists.
That's it.
100%.
You know, young Sammie started off the conversation talking
that's
about
right.
how
They
important hunters are. Yep. And we're wrapping it up with that. Guys, if y'all got any more questions.
I do. Have we not? Was the elk that was brought back to Pennsylvania a different species than what's been put in other places?
Yeah, it depends on how you feel about modern genetics.
For some reason, I was thinking they came from Canada.
They came from Yellowstone. The Tennessee elk came from Canada.
Oh, the Tennessee elk came from Canada. Yeah. Okay, my bad.
And if you talk about subspecies and you believe in subspecies, then technically, Eastern elk is what we had. They were extirpated, and we replaced them with Rocky Mountain elk.
Okay.
If you kind of look at the modern genetic side of it, an elk is an elk is an elk, and there's subspecies kind of goes away. So it just depends on your school of thought and your cup of tea, I suppose.
It is interesting how there's a lot of non-typicals in the population.
That's what I was getting at. And I was wrong about the state, but I was like, I wonder if it's.
There's so much we don't know.
That could go back to what the genetics of the early ones were. It spread out too. So
yeah, you're right.
mean, a lot of it's got to be, most of these subspecies, so to speak, whether you believe or not, were pretty close to the same. And the big limiting factor, again, is the habitat. And you've got really nutritious forage up there. You're growing some big elk. Just like you mentioned about Arizona and New Mexico, typically have the biggest ones. Well, guess what? They have the richest food supply for them, too.
Mm. Yeah, and if you think of Roosies on the coast of Oregon, Washington, California, stuff like that, they hybridize all the time with the Rocky Mountain elk on the inland, and really those kind of phenotypic, the physical differences that we see between them is due to that habitat difference that they're both occupying.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So we do have a trivia question. We would like to ask the trivia question to Jeremy and Sammie. If y'all would pay attention real quick, our trivia is brought to you by we've got some fine folks here that sponsor our show called
Nutrient Ag Services.
Well, and the Peanut Patch.
Oh, I forgot. I was on the wrong one. I thought we were doing rapid fire.
Both of them were
Peanut
very
Patch
top flight.
Had some Peanut Patch peanuts for breakfast this
you
morning.
did.
They were
I watched
delicious.
you. Yeah. So go ahead, Mitchell.
So first off, we had a user review.
All right.
What'd he win, Bobby?
So we are giving away now for the next month. We've got these thermal for our prize.
A heating seat.
Yeah, the thermal seat. You can go to Walmart or any good sporting goods store has it. We've all grown up sitting on these.
Yeah, those things are nice.
We've got some of these thermal seats to give away for prizes for the next month.
I'll use one for a pillow.
Nobody likes a cold tush.
No, that's right.
Well, Sammie, she needs one.
Sammie talked about that, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Mitchell,
What is the trivia question?
Well, first off, the user review was Cord Caller 77. I have listened to every single podcast and some even twice. It's an awesome crew and a great podcast.
I bet I know.
Cord Collar has got to talk about the original hunting jacket.
Of course it is.
Yeah, the Cord
people
Collar.
love those, don't they? Yeah. Doxy, when you first kind of came up with those and were making that, did you have any idea that people would pay hundreds of dollars for them 35 years later?
No, wish I knew. No.
Yeah, you'd have made some more.
I was worried to death about them paying like $40 for them. At the time and getting the money back out.
I bet you money that's a guy named Holden.
All right.
He's
a cord collar freak.
Well, Thanks for the kind words,
I
Mr.
was
Cord
actually
Collar.
going to a fabric store and looking through all the remnants trying to find some corduroy material to mail to this factory that was I talked into doing stuff. It was total Hail Mary. A miracle of all miracles we got through those days.
I'm glad we did.
We got Doug Flutie down there at the end of the table.
I don't know about that now.
All right, go ahead, Mitchell.
So, in 1913, when Pennsylvania Game Commission bought the 50 elk from Yellowstone, how much do they charge per head?
Ooh.
A, $10, B, $50, C, $100, and D, 50 pounds of Amish butter.
Ooh. We're going to look at Jeremy for this one.
Jeremy.
He's already smiling. No, don't talk. How about?
He's going to say, I'm a biologist, not a historian.
You already know the answer. Like, did you look this up? You didn't make this up.
No, I looked this up.
Oh, he might.
What are the options again?
Oh, wow. Stump the panel.
$10, $50, $100, or 50 pounds of Amish butter.
1913.
This is per head, though, right?
Yeah,
Per head, yes.
per head. 1913.
That Amish butter's pretty good.
I think yeah. How many pounds of Amish butter?
50 pounds. So a pound per head.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. A pound per head.
Man, I know exactly where to look. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm going to guess. I mean, it's not butter.
Yes.
You're right. It's not butter.
Oh, man. In 1913,
10, 50, or
100 is a lot.
Yes, it is.
I think you're either.
I'm going to say $10. $10 a piece.
I'd go with that.
Sammy, what is your guess?
I'll say the same thing, yeah.
$10.
Close.
It's 50.
It's $50.
$50 a head.
No way.
Which in today's money is $1,600 or $1,669.
That's a bargain of the century.
Yeah,
Wow.
no doubt about it.
And that was per head?
Per head, yeah. And I got that
Where'd
off.
you get that?
I'm pretty sure it was like Pennsylvania Game Commission's like history page on the elk.
Jeremy's going to fact check.
Yeah.
He's on it.
Yeah, right.
So was that in cash?
And a pound of butter.
All right, guys. Yeah, look, this has been a lot of fun. We've enjoyed this. Dudley, do you want to do that, or you want to just we can do it next time?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Sammy,
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations. Look, congratulations to all three.
No doubt about it. And hey, look, thanks
For
to Sammy
different
for being, having her head on right with this, what she's doing with hunting too, man.
Yeah,
and
we
being
may-
able to articulate it, which is huge.
We may need you to sit in on another
Yeah.
podcast in the future. You're
Yeah.
very well spoken.
Yeah, very well spoken.
Yeah, I think she might set a few fellers straight, too.
Yeah, good job, Noel.
Yeah.
And Mom.
So when she gets her quadruple trophy, which just means you got to kill a buck, a bear, and a turkey in this license year, which includes spring turkey, then you should let them know.
Boom.
Please.
That's right. Yeah,
All right,
don't,
Noel, get to work.
don't forget she's got that coat. She'll have the great foursome, too.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's good. Jeremy, look, you came highly recommended. They said we'd have a lot of fun with you. And they also said that you'd probably help us out. If we get drawn for an elk next year, can we come stay with you and would you guide us?
You can stay with me. I can't guide you per se. So I'm at the check station, right? And I got to be there pretty much the whole time. That's actually where I first met Sammy. She came walking in. I was like, "How old are you?" She's like 14. And so, I got to be at the check station the whole time. Plus, that would be a huge conflict of interest, but we don't need to go there.
Well,
but you're welcome to stay here. My wife will feed you and get you taken care of.
There we go.
Leave it to Bobby to tempt somebody with something illegal.
Yeah.
I didn't know it would be illegal.
Would you, Jeremy? Would you at least give us access to your Onex? Where you drop your pins or anything?
And now, Lanny, what does this say for my guys?
I was
man.
just wondering.
we're
You taught us
we're
MRI,
hungry.
most
No, I
recent
didn't. No,
information.
this is where I looked the other way.
We're hungry.
Nobody's asked him about turkey season, though. That's kind of odd.
Oh, those elk are. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Bobby will get there. Yep.
All right, guys. Noel, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being safe and pulling over on the side of the road.
Yes.
Sammy, But we're just so excited for you.
Congratulations!
You've got a great
again.
future.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank
Keep on
you.
hunting. That's right.
And Jeremy Banfield, just
Heck of a job
hats
up
off
there,
to you.
Jeremy.
Yep.
Thank you guys. Thanks so much for having us on.
Absolutely.
Man, that was incredible.
No doubt about it.
We got to go sometime.
Oh.
Or at least put in.
Yeah.
I'll loan you $12 if you'll loan me the.
No, it's
$276,000 you need for your tag.
No, remember it's like $140 now.
Yeah, no, he was talking about the governor's tag.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that one.
Well, actually, I was talking about I'll do the 12 if you'll do the.
Do the remainder.
Yeah.
I mean, why not take a chance?
I
We
did
put
the
in
math,
for a
and
good
it
cause.
is a 0.25% chance at 140 tags and 52,000 people.
Well,
0.0026.
having to go up to 140 might cut the
So-
number down. You may have a higher chance.
You
Probably would.
can't exactly just take 140
I did my math
tags
wrong.
and 52,000. Like it, unfortunately, there's a lot of options when you go to apply. You can apply for archery, late general. You can apply for bull cow, and you can apply per hunt zone. So technically, each combination of season, sex, and hunt zone plus your bonus points changes the probability that you're going to draw. Nevertheless, the odds are terrible. It's like 0.00000 whatever. So we just tell people like it's $12.
Yeah, there you go. It's just $12.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Dudley, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
That's fun. Well, so why not apply? You never know.
Yeah, no, why not apply? And it's great, to Toxie's point, to see these eastern states doing this work.
Oh,
with
it's
this
exciting. I didn't realize quite this many.
Yeah, amazing creature. Of course, we love turkey hunting down here, and you can ask Mac
That's
and
my
Mitchell. They
bucket
just got
list.
back. Yeah,
Just to somehow hunt
In
an
the
eastern
eastern.
part of the country
Yeah.
and hunt big elk. That would be with a bow.
be really cool. And
That
now
would be really cool. I don't have
Put
much
in-
time.
it's something
on
that
this.
you couldn't have done earlier in your life, but now that it's accessible.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
How about that?
Put in.
It's not often that we hear something that Toxie's like a
Wants
bucket
to
list.
do,
I don't know that I've ever heard that. Have you?
I don't talk about
He always
bucket
talks
lists
about
very
one-
much.
No, he
killing
doesn't talk about
one
it.
more
I thought
turkey.
you were going to get the squirrel slam, all the different fox squirrels.
I don't know where they all are, but that would be a good one.
That would be a good one.
Why don't you say goodbye, Dudley?
Goodbye, Dudley.
Get us out of here, Mitchell.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gamekeeper Podcast. And be sure to tune in again. Subscribe to Gamekeeper Farming for Wildlife magazine, and don't miss the Mossy Oak Properties Fistful of Dirt podcast with my good buddy, Ronnie Cuz Strickland.